Welcome to Resolutions, the official podcast of the American Bar Association section of dispute resolution. Every episode is a journey into the heart of conflict resolution, guided by our diverse community of experts. We're here to explore innovative strategies, share wisdom from the field, and inspire excellence in resolving disputes. Whether you're a dispute resolution professional, a curious learner, or someone passionate about fostering understanding and peace, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's conversation and discover how we can transform conflict into opportunity together.
Welcome to Resolutions. I'm your host, Juliana Rigato. This week, I'm sitting with international lawyer, LLM in international arbitration from the University of Miami School of Law and football fan, Ana Lombardía, to discuss the impact of her ADR journey on breaking through the sport and entertainment industry. From ADR to in-house counsel, breaking through the football industry. International lawyer with over 15 years of experience in cross-border litigation, international arbitration, and corporate legal advisory. Currently, Ana serves as corporate legal counsel at FIFA, advising on global legal matters in the sports industry. She's a dual qualified in Spain and New York State, with a strong track record in managing complex disputes, contract negotiations, and regulatory issues across Europe, the Americas, and beyond. Welcome, Ana. Bienvenida, Ana.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Juliana. Good morning.
Good morning. So, football, or as it is commonly called in the United States, soccer, is the key word of the year. Following the laws of the game, let's start our kickoff in the center circle, in the heart. What is your first memory or moment that you felt connected to the football culture?
Thank you. You know that soccer is like a forbidden word in FIFA, so let's keep on using football. Well, as thanks for the question. As a Spaniard, a very significant part of our cultural heritage is tied to football, to the point where it was practically considered the national sports by excellence for much of the 90s, right? So my earliest memories are, on the one hand, the Football Club Barcelona's dream team during the early 90s with Johan Cruyff, Pep Guardiola, Stoichkov, Koeman, Mikel Laudrup. These are all players that I was very fond of when I was a little kid. Then, obviously, the Atlético de Madrid's double victory during the 1995 and 1996 season. And, of course, the 1994 World Cup held right here in the United States, which was without a doubt, the first World Cup I can remember, and the one that I recall following most closely on television. You need to know, I don't know if you know this. I know you know that Brazil ended up winning that World Cup, but Spain fell in quarterfinals
Sorry about that.
to Italy, who lost the final against Brazil. So, yeah, those are my first memories, I'd say, in the soccer world.
Thank you for recalling that. Please tell me a little bit more about the football, the football word at FIFA.
Well, the classical explanation that Gianni Infantino does and provides when he's asked about this, and in these debates, is that we call football to the sport that we play with the foot and with the feet. And that's why it doesn't make much sense that you call football in the United States and sports that you play with something that is not a ball, first, and second, with the hands. So I guess that, it's a non-closed debate, but I guess that from a logical standpoint, football should be called the sport where you play with your feet, actually.
I appreciate your explanation. I believe this is a topic for one single episode.
Yes. There's a very famous ad with David Beckham and this NFL player where they have this debate. It's a long old ad, but I guess that you can find it somewhere on YouTube or somewhere. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So next, You have an impressive trajectory. From intern to associate at one of the most prestigious international law firms in Spain, to the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, then the International Center for Dispute Resolution, ICDR, then in-house counsel at FIFA in the United States. When did you realize that it was time to expand your legal practice to international arbitration overseas?
Yes, as you say, I started my career at one of the three largest and most internationally oriented law firms in Spain, from Spanish origin. At that time, it was not so long ago though, but at that time, foreign law firms had barely made an impact in Spain as a market. They were just starting. The first English law firms were started just to settle in Spain. So before that, if I wanted to advise on litigation or transactions with an international component, I knew it would most likely have to do or to be done through one of these law firms. Okay. That determined from the very beginning that my career path, if I decided to continue at that level and to keep on developing on that front, would eventually require me to explore other jurisdictions. Okay. After URI, I moved to an international firm. Like it's a national firm, but they have a lot of international work called Marimon Abogados. And in 2013, when some of the first investment arbitrations matters were being filed against Spain, the first one was in 2012. I had the chance to participate in around 6 international matters, international arbitrations on the photovoltaic industry. There were no investment matters just yet. It was just commercial arbitrations between the different players in the sector, the provider of the panels versus the owner of the premises, the guy who would do the repair or the maintenance of the components with the provider of the components, these type of disputes, right? And they were all international. So I soon realized that the natural step after these cases for me was to pursue an LLM outside Spain and seek professional experience in other countries. And Miami, the University of Miami, offered a very, very specific exclusive program, LLM, on international arbitration, and I went for it. So that's why I moved in the United States. I was almost 30. And before that, I had developed my whole life and career in Madrid.
I appreciate the context that you picture for us, but this almost 30, Anna, come on. 30 is the new 20s. Okay.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I could say
It's,
that. I mean, I'm not in my 30s anymore, and yet I can say that my new decade is the new 20s, if you may. So yeah,
it's just a number these days. It's just a number.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
It's the mindset that counts. We have a diverse audience across the country and abroad, including law graduates from outside the US who are
Mhm.
currently LLM and dispute resolution candidates. Including law graduates from outside the US who are currently LLM and dispute resolution candidates. Tell me one thought or piece of advice you would give Anna yourself back in time during her LLM.
Okay. I think that a lot has changed since I earned my LLM in 2016. There was a pandemic. There were different wars. The eruption of the AI, which I think has shaken the whole situation. So it's very difficult to compare the two contexts for our listeners if they are students or prospective graduates in the audience. But I haven't stopped participating in events with the students since. I'm mentoring several students. And this is a question that comes up often, very, very similar questions, right? Last year, I participated in an event at Columbia Law with the students, and I mentioned that probably the biggest challenge international students face in the United States is that even with an LLM and the bar exam, it is difficult to prove to the US market players that you have the relevant experience from your home country and the technical knowledge needed to earn the trust. I mean, I came in as an experienced attorney, yet I was being considered for entry positions because they thought I would not be able to prepare a cross-examination, but I was perfectly fitted or fit to prepare a cross-examination, right? On a more positive or optimistic or constructive side, if you may, I guess that the best way to maximize the impact of an LLM or the advantage that they can an LLM title can bring is to build a solid network of contacts, for which it is very important, for example, to understand the landscape, to work on your personal brands, and to add value to the network. And by that, I mean, you are not just there to see if something comes up. You need to contribute and to talk to your members in your network as your peers, rather than apologizing for being interested in finding a job. You have to be humble, obviously, but also it is a good thing to exchange opinions, collaborate in papers, ask for advice on technical matters, for example, so people can see how you roll and can keep you on the radar. And when opportunity comes up, they can think of you as a suitable candidate.
Thank you so much, Anna, for opening your heart and bringing to our listeners, especially the LLM audience, the law students, and the international lawyers, the challenge that LLM professionals they face when they decide to go overseas abroad. The challenge of proving the relevance experience they have locally in their own country, and how they can be a human asset, a valuable human asset for the company they are applying for. And how precious is the network that an LLM carry through this journey that, as you mentioned perfectly, go through historical changes as eruption of AI, pandemic, change on geopolitics, but also challenge when preparing and applying and being admitted a specific bar state, and even before graduating the LLM program and find an internship. And I firmly believe your answer can inspire others, even who already went through all the first journey about the transition, either immigratory status, or they are already practicing, but they still have that feeling that they are not being seen as a valuable human set, as they used to be in their home country, but they choose to go overseas and put themselves there and offer the unique value that LLM can offer, like you did and bravely did. And so I'm so excited to go to the next question. What skills that you believe are valuable to have in your pocket to work in the sport industry?
Well, I believe that nothing that we do throughout our careers, whether successful or not, it is in vain or a wasted effort. So before even practicing, I worked on many other roles as a student, and everything that you get to learn and all those skills you acquire with time, they do help you along the way. So anything you do has some certain value that you may use down the road. That's the first, I'd say first opinion or view, I'd say. Before joining FIFA as an in-house corporate counsel, my entire life as a litigator and director of an international division of the largest arbitral institution in the world in terms of volume, endowed me with a sensitivity to what I call pathology. That is to detect where the risk might exist that could later translate into commercial disputes. It's not that I'm a prospective or potential disputes detector, but you can certainly develop some sensitivity to that. Similarly, I've attended countless hearings, especially after the pandemic, where the case managers were supposed to host the hearings through Zoom and other platforms. So we were actually viewing those hearings live. And I've also read hundreds of awards, right, as part of my work at the AAA. And that has allowed me to identify what gaps and weaknesses both from a substantive and from a procedural standpoint, that are very useful when you are considering an emerging or nascent dispute, right? Finally, it is often said that in-house counsel, who are mostly dedicated to contract negotiation, have a very limited knowledge of the various ADR providers, the advantages and pros and cons of resorting to arbitration or ADR instead of going to national courts, or vice versa, depending on the situation. And I can tell you by far that that is the easiest part of my job right now, is to provide that insight and expertise to my colleagues in legal and to educate them about these ADR implications and litigation risks. And this is a kind of knowledge that they normally do not entrust to outside counsel. You do not call an outside counsel who's going to bill you a lot of money just to ask whether they can say that this institution is better than this other institution for this particular matter that is going to happen in the other side of the world. They do not do that. They go with whatever they have in the previous template most of the times. And there's some due diligence that is, to be done and to qualify and to say, well, wait a minute, are you going to be considered a third-party beneficiary in the sub-licensing contract, for example? Or are you comfortable with applying foreign law to the, to construe and to the merits of the dispute or to interpret the contract, but you are more comfortable using a foreign seat? It's not the same. This type of nuances. They seem tiny when you're negotiating a contract, but then they actually translate into big deals when the dispute arises, if it arises. So, yeah.
Wow. I will take my notes here and
you and I can talk about this whenever you want. It's all right.
No, I really appreciate, because how you describe it, your experience and pointed the skills is very helpful, especially for our listeners that are breaking through the sport industry, and the ones that they are navigating some crucial moments that they need make choices. They need to optimize the time and think, what skill I need focus on now? What is missing on my resume? How may I leverage my application comparing to other candidates? And your answer was so complete that you combined the answer of my next question. So specific about the international commercial arbitration experience that you earned during your journey. How it prepare you for the complex legal issues that you face right now, working with a company that has global influence?
That's a good question. As I mentioned, my work so far had always focused on advising clients. As a litigator, you advise them once a dispute is imminent or has already arisen, right? When you are in a transactional role, that perspective is unusual. Because when you're in a transactional role, you are involved in contract negotiation and a more constructive collaboration with the other party, with your vendor, with your counterparty, right? When I read draft of contracts these days, I find myself trying to identify everything that could go wrong or that what usually does go wrong when the time comes for each party to fulfill their respective obligations. And I've noticed that sometimes I spot certain risks that other colleagues didn't see as clearly when you read a contract in a systematic light, right? That doesn't mean that I'm still missing or lacking a lot of the experience in the role. So this has been an incredibly steep learning curve for me so far. I've just made 1 year at FIFA. And I realized that when you negotiate contract, you have to be very clear and confident on which points you can negotiate, where you should push back, where you should give in, and to what extent. Not only because it affects this particular contract you're dealing with at any given time, but also future contracts that you have with that same vendor or other vendors. So you need to think very strategically, you have to be very pragmatic as well. I'm learning a lot. But certainly coming from the pathology, as I said, coming from the trouble, and from the, when you have these very disputed or very heated discussions on certain matters, you really certainly can spot some risks and potential situations that could give rise to unnecessary arguments down the road. So I think that's probably why my boss is more or less satisfied. I want to believe since I joined.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he
Uh,
is. Because it's such a beautiful mindset that you have. You basically you provide us your recipe, your roadmap, but at the same point, you show that you still learning.
I learn every day. I learn every day.
And that is beautiful. I believe it's a beautiful skill. Like it's persistence, it's resilience. And resilience is something very common on the LLM pod, no?
It's true. That's true. Yes, we're
That's
a
called,
special breed.
yes, it's true. So, next, being in an international commercial arbitration environment in Miami and New York is seen as a dream career goal for many professionals in the dispute resolution field, both in the beginning and as they progress in their journey. How do you see the move you made back to practicing law?
Um, the truth is, I really missed it, and I've been very lucky. Working in an institution is wonderful, wonderful. I'll give you an example if I have the chance. But there's also limited career growth within the institution. And on top of that, my involvement in proceedings is always, the case manager or director involvement is always secondary, which is very comfortable, as I say, but at the same time doesn't allow you to delve more into more technical issues, both substantive or procedural, right? For which I was, or without a doubt, prepared through my years of professional experience and legal education. So I enjoyed it very, very much. I always use the same example. It's like watching, as a case manager in a prominent institution, you can manage at any given time between 70 and 100 cases at once.
Wow.
And it's like watching a football game from the stands, where you get to see from the comfort of your seat big teams, big football, soccer stars, and the referees, which are the arbitrators, et cetera, right?
Yes.
That was a privilege, but also I was missing not being able to take a more active role, and I was missing it. That's what I had done before I moved in the United States, so I missed it in part, and I thought that I needed a position to put in good use my skills that I have developed, throughout the years. Precisely because the role in an institution is more discreet, if you may, the transition to an in-house position was no easy by any means. That's what I say. I was lucky. When I began exploring, a professional transition, a career move, an alternative, I had a very hard time convincing hiring managers in some of the legal departments across different industries why I was the right candidate. They, given the limited interaction in-house counsel have with the arbitral institutions, that's very rare. ADR providers typically deal with outside counsel directly. The in-house counsel often did not understand or see exactly what I could contribute to the team or to the legal department. It's probably due to the lack of education on ADR among in-house counsel, as I said before. But as I said, also, I was lucky that my current boss had the curiosity and the patience to ask, well, what if this person can, contribute with a more pragmatic approach, with a more, with an experience based on real cases, a very wide transversal view of many disputes for us to negotiate agreements. And I think that she's more or less happy with the results so far, as I said, and I think it's working fine. I'm still, learning a lot about the constructive side, as I said, the part of where you get to negotiate contracts and all the etiquette with your own client, internal client, and external counsel, etc. But when it comes to the, identifying potential disputes, preparing or laying the grounds for a potential dispute, they experience in an international arbitral institution and in the ADR field, it's quite useful.
That was open mind.
Yeah.
was beautiful, beautiful. I hear love and opportunity.
Yeah.
You was missing, and that proved the love for law.
Mm.
that I sometimes I mention to my mentees, law, or you love or you hate it. It's
Yeah.
it is
Roller
holocauster.
coaster. Yeah.
All a career, there's a holocauster. Now is the moment. Okay. What feelings did you experience while attending the 2025 World Cup as a fan and lawyer?
Well, the truth is that was the best possible start to the job. I'm not gonna lie, it was just as cool as you'd expect. So let me elaborate a little bit further.
Don't worry. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay, take your time.
Yeah, just like 2 months after arriving to FIFA, they gave me the chance to start reviewing some of the pending contracts for the Club World Cup, which was just the final touch of very tiny things because all the main contracts are obviously negotiated and executed well in advance, right? But you get to see a little bit of what was going on and what's going to happen immediately, right? And then obviously internally, FIFA offers the employees a certain amount of tickets for purchase, I must say. Okay, so let's be clear. I buy my tickets, but it's true that they offer us a certain amount of limited tickets for certain matches. So I tentatively bought a few of the available tickets, like a newcomer, totally, a rookie. And I got into the swing of things. And I got to see a couple of matches last summer. So yeah, working for a company like FIFA has a huge advantage because you can be passionate about anything that you do. I mean, if you work for a company that manufactures pens, you can be passionate about pens. That's fine. I would probably talk with passion about manufacturing pens and being an in-house counsel for a company that manufactures pens. That's fine. But if you work for a company whose ultimate product is football, it is easier, right, to get swept up in the excitement and the euphoria of the tournaments like the FIFA Club World Cup or the FIFA World Cup. So yeah, it was very cool, right? I'm a not religious person, but I remember posting that photo on LinkedIn. That was a match between Boca Juniors versus the Bayern Munich. And I jokingly captioned as "Ora et labora," which in Latin means pray and work. It's a motto of a Benedictine order of priests, and represents the balance between spiritual devotion and work. Right. So in that sense, I was having fun in the match in the game, with something that some people may consider a religion, especially the Boca Juniors fans. But at the same time, it came naturally to me in my role as a FIFA employee, right? So it was a leisure event, but it was as the result of my work as well. So, it was a perfect balance. That's why I posted that. And I can tell, you can tell from my face that I was enjoying it very much with a close friend. Yeah, so that's
No,
my
that the heart
experience.
to the heart was like I saw the picture and I said I need ask this question.
Yes.
I'm so glad I did. I could see your passion that all the passion that you put there in the game right now. You answer the question. Yes. So my burning question: Can you share your favorite club with us?
Yes, absolutely. My favorite team, I mean, I'm a die-hard fan of Atlético de Madrid since I was a little girl.
Okay.
And before you say anything, we're not in our best right now. We just lost the Copa del Rey final, and we just, as of this week, were knocked out in the UEFA Champions League semifinals against Arsenal. So yeah, but it's, that's the team of my life and my family, and the one I'm most fond of, and that won't go anywhere. So Atlético de Madrid, yeah. But then I pick one favorite team in each country.
Oh,
In the US, for example, I would classically root for Inter Miami. But
Messi.
now, yeah,
Because Messi,
exactly.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I need because Messi or because Miami?
Both really.
Both.
Both. It was very convenient that he came to Miami. It was perfect. It was a perfect boost. But now that Antoine Griezmann from Atletico de Madrid is going to start playing next season for Orlando City, I might consider also rooting for Orlando. So, it's all right.
Goodness, that's a tough situation. I got it.
What
That's
is your
it.
team? What is your favorite team?
Is I'm from a state, Mato Grosso do Sul, in the heart of South America, that we don't have a team that would represent in the big TV. So my team is Palmeiras.
All right.
Yeah. So I
Did you
did
see
went
them
to
last year? Did you see them playing? Oh,
yes,
nice.
MetLife.
Yes.
Yes, was my birthday present
Oh,
to
wow.
myself. Yes, I went and was beautiful. So the World Cup 2025. I don't remember which game was. Boca Juniors River Plate
Mm-hmm.
through FIFA Collect, but I
Yeah.
couldn't go. Yeah, and Inter de Milano.
Yeah.
The NFTs and FIFA Collect, and that opened the path for our next question.
Okay.
The tickets, not only the tickets, but the desperation for the tickets. So how high is the excitement for the future? Correct.
Yeah.
I want. How many days is missing for the World Cup start?
35, I see. I believe.
35.
35.
Because I want to add that 35. So here are a few facts to challenge you. I'm originally from Brazil, South America. The 1994 World Cup in USA, held in Los Angeles, impacted my life in different ways. You mentioned that when we started the episode, impacted you too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dreaming of attending the FIFA 23rd World Cup in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. The opening games will be held in Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina. It will be the first World Cup to be held across three continents: Europe, Africa, and South America. You are originally from Spain, Europe, we know already. You are based in Miami and one of the host cities for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. This year, it is the first World Cup to be held across three countries: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. You serve as a corporate legal counsel advisor on global matters in the sport industry. After listening to all that, what is the first thought that comes to your mind?
Without a doubt, the complexity of the tournaments, both legally and operationally. For this year, I meaning 2026, but obviously I arrived late in the game when everything was mostly done, right? For 2030, we're starting to prepare actually now for what is to come, and it's still a long way off. At the same time, the experience and lessons we'll gain from 2026 will be of great help. I think that it's wonderful that the tournament is expanding and becoming a truly global celebration. The FIFA's motto is Football Unites the World. And I believe that expanding the tournament and making room for more countries, some of them for the first time, like Curacao, Bosnia-Herzegovina, there are some teams that are qualifying that have never, or IT who's returning after many, many years. So opening the tournament to more countries, more hosts, more teams, more generates a lot of enthusiasm, and it's very exciting, and it certainly embodies the FIFA's motto.
I appreciate your answer. That would be an entire episode. We don't have opportunity right now to go deeper in this, but we do have the least but not the last question. In football, the referee ends the game with 3 whistles. Discuss 3 similarities between the referee role in football and that of an international arbitrator.
It is a very good question because, all my life working with arbitrators one way or the other. Referees or arbitrators, you name it, right? Well, all right. The first is that every match or case requires the referees or arbitrators' full attention and dedication, as if it were a unique case or a unique match, because they are. Okay, so the referee needs to be totally in the zone. Arbitrator needs to be totally dedicated to the particularities of each dispute, because that's what they're paid for. And that's what the people resort to when they are looking for a third party to resolve their disputes and adjudicate controversial issues, right? So treat each match or case as a unique situation and devote all dedication and attention to solve the problem. That will be my first similarity and piece of advice to anyone who wants to listen. The second one, obviously tensions can ramp up both in litigation and in football matches. So in tense or highly contentious situations, it is essential that the referee or arbitrator maintains composure and calm. All parties involved, by parties, I mean players, coaches, owners, fans, everybody, rely on the referee's or arbitrator's judgment to resolve disputed issues as objectively as possible. It is important not to be swayed by the party's aggressiveness or insistence. Those are tricks. Those are guerrilla tactics. They need to be perfectly aware of that. These are tactics to be avoided and to be kept under control. That will be my second similarity, the tension, right? It's easy when you are the main referee in a final of the World Cup and there's this polemic, controversial, situations, you need to remain calm, because otherwise they're gonna eat you, right? They're gonna eat you anyway, but you have to handle the pressure, basically. And the third one, obviously we all love to win a dispute or see our team win. But before the final whistle or the final 3 whistles, or the award, before that, we all prefer to trust a neutral or objective arbitrator. No, I don't think anybody wants, unless you are a Real Madrid supporter, and I
No.
I say that as a joke, but no, I say that as a joke. But I think nobody really wants to, nobody likes that their team wins cheating, right? So in the long run, professionals with a reputation for partiality, those referees that that may be more biased as arbitrators as well, or one-sided in favor of one of the parties, cease to be attractive. So if you are in the business of becoming an arbitrator, let me tell you that I've seen a lot of arbitrators working throughout the years, and impartiality, neutrality, calm, objectivity really pays off, and the opposite backfires in the long run. These would be my 3 comparisons, and I guess that all 3 are somehow pieces of advice or little tips for arbitrators or people interested in becoming an arbitrator.
I highly appreciate your answer, because picture the same skills, and many times, especially Latin America, for example, that express a lot of referee abuse, and curse the referees when they're not happy, and that's not acceptable. It's against the laws of the game. And you show the same skills, and who I hold, they are both arbitrators, and the respect that you should also honor to the referees in the game and football, as we honor and respect the arbitrators in dispute resolution. I appreciate so much your answer and your time. And you do you have anything else that you would like to add, Anna?
To thank you, Juliana, for the invitation to, for thinking of me for this episode. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you enjoyed it too. And thanks for thinking of me. It was very generous. I'm very, very excited with this role. Happy to share with anybody who wants to listen how it is to change from litigation as a counsel, then as an international arbitral institution, and then as an in-house counsel for FIFA nonetheless. So it seems exciting. It actually is. And I'm happy to help anybody. I'm available for, anybody who wants to learn more, to share about my experience and the role we do. And to share my knowledge and experience within FIFA.
Anna, what I can add
Thanks.
is this has been an incredible discussion. It is inspiring to see a football fan contributing to the sport industry as the professional you have become. How can our listeners follow your journey on social media and hear about your next step?
Well, I normally use LinkedIn for all the professional matters. I'm not as active as I used to be when I was in the AAA, because it's more of I'm starting to learn now about this field, really, this industry. My new, I have the network that I built up during the years that I was in the AAA, and now I'm starting to getting to know some people in the sports and industry field, but I'm certainly a newcomer. And I attended a conference last November, and it was exciting to see that I didn't know anybody, and that I didn't know anything about what was being discussed, and that felt like refreshing. It's like for a change,
Beautiful.
that's good, because I don't get to greet this many people, and nobody really know who I am. So but still, I'm initiating this new stage, this new phase of my career. Very excited, and willing to learn from so many people who have been dedicated to the sports industry for so long. That is very, very exciting, really. But LinkedIn, I'd say, is where I can be found easily. And I update regularly what FIFA does when we do issue reports, guides, and all that. So yeah, it's obviously I'm connected to other players in the sports industry. We follow the TAS or other confederations and these law firms that are specialized. So yeah, it's always interesting to learn from this new field.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anna. And see you on the World Cup.
Yes, I'll be there.
Thank you for joining us on Resolutions. Today's episode has illuminated the powerful impact of effective dispute resolution and showcased the incredible individuals who dedicate themselves to this important work. Our mission is to explore the diverse world of dispute resolution, and we hope we've inspired you to engage with conflict and collaboration in new ways. If you're not yet a member of the ABA section of dispute resolution, we invite you to join our community of professionals making a difference. Your involvement can help us build a more harmonious society together. And if you found value in our conversations, please consider leaving us a review and a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts. Your feedback helps us reach more people and continue our journey towards excellence in dispute resolution. Until next time, keep solving problems, building bridges, and creating positive changes in your communities.